Hi and welcome to another in-depth tutorial for the Kemper profiler. This time we're gonna take a look at the delays, at all the delay types and all the parameters featured within them. And I'm gonna explain and show some of those to you and just show you how I create some of my sounds and what some of these parameters do. So here we go. Let's start with the first one. This is my clean sound. It's just a dry clean sound with a little bit of compression and a tiny little bit of reverb. It's not much, but we're gonna keep that so it's not too unnatural. So let's turn on the delays. The first delay type is the single delay, which is just as its name says, is a single delay. It's just one delay engine. And you can dial it in for to match the tempo. You can do that here. If you switch it off, you can dial in the time in milliseconds. That might be useful if you were like going for a kind of slapback delay like this. For a slapback delay, I would usually turn the feedback way down, so you just have one repeat. The mix not that high, and the delay time around 110 milliseconds. And I would go for a high cut at about, let's say, 2000 or 1900 hertz. To simulate some kind of tape or analog delay. It's a very subtle effect, but once I turn it off, you'll notice. It fattens up the sound. Let's just give it a bit of distortion. Again, without the delay. Delay on. Makes the sound a lot more three-dimensional. So let's just turn the high cut off again and switch to tempo again. The delay mix is gonna give you the amount of delay that is present in the signal. It goes up to 100%. And if you go past that, it turns down the dry, it exceeds the dry mix. Like when I have it at 100% the delay and the dry gets mixed down. So now the dry signal is less loud than the delay signal. When it's just showing the one number, that's where the dry signal is always present, just at 100%. This gives you the note values, as you can see, and the feedback is the amount of feedback. The way the delays are fed back into the delay engine and it gets repeated more often. The higher you set it, the more repeats you'll get. And we got some new features. Let me turn the drive off. The infinity thing is where the feedback gets set over 100%. You can just dial it in between 100 and 200%. And that gives you kind of the infinity effect. And also it starts to distort a little bit. Let's turn it on again. When you hit the infinity button, and you can also match that to your remote, to a button on your remote to switch it on and off. The infinity button has that thing going on where the delay still takes signal in and adds to it, whereas the hold button is just holding the delayed signal, and the input is cut dry, so nothing is added to the delay that is already present. That's the difference between those two. So the reverse mix lets you dial in a amount of reverse delay to the already present normal delay. It's without, with it. When it's fully up, it's just the backwards delay. So let's turn that off again. The low cut does what it does. It cuts the bass of the repeats. The high cut does the same thing for the highs. If I turn it down, it cuts the high frequencies of the repeats. Makes it sound darker. Let's turn it on again. That stereo thing is where you can pan the delays. If I turn it to -100, it turns around the delays, which you can't hear now because it's not stereo, it's just a single mono delay. We're gonna go over that in the dual delay. Just keep it up at 100. So the chorus is some chorus effect added to the delay repeats. The more you turn it up, the more drastic it gets, and the more it gets faster, and rate and time get increased. And you can clearly hear that only the delay repeats are affected. A similar thing is the modulation. Let's turn it up a bit more. And the flutter intensity and the rate give you the effect of a worn out wobbling tape. Let's hear that. Let's make it a bit more drastic. You can hear how the flutter works. Let's turn it off again. And the grid is distorting the delays or the repeats as a tape that is hit too hard with signal. Let's turn it on. So that is that. Then we have the ducking. The ducking is like what it says, it attenuates the signal when you're playing it, and it lets the delays come through when you stop playing. Okay, that is a bit extreme. Let's turn it down a bit. No ducking. So let's move on to the next delay type. That is the dual delay. That is the same like the single delay, but it has two delay taps, and you can position them in the stereo field, and you can get them with different note values for like the typical U2 type thing. Let's do 5 instead. What I tend to do is apply a little bit of high cut to it, so it's not too bright, and just a tad bit of low cut, maybe around 100 hertz or 120. And what I do, so I always add some cross feedback that feeds the left delay back to the right and the other way around. Without it, it's two independent delays. And now with cross feedback, it gets a little more dense. Keep it usually around 3 or 4. And then I mostly go for some modulation. And a little bit of flutter. Now we have the swell function, which blends in the delays and kind of gets rid of the initial attack of the delays. You can hear how the attack of the delay repeats is just eliminated, and it gets blended in. That is great for kind of pet sounds where you have like a lot of when you have the mix really high and have the feedback set really high, so you get like really dense pet sounds. Turn it off again. This would be without the swell. Now we can add the snare feature, which kind of diffuses the repeats a bit. It makes it a bit more reverb-like. Just turn it off a bit more. that's that. And one thing we skipped before, just let me show you the stereo feature. This is now fully turned left and right, 100%. If you turn it to like minus 100, it gets swapped around. That's just the other way around. And when you go like minus 200 or plus 200, it's kind of a hyper stereo effect. It's hard to explain what exactly happens. If you listen back to just one of the stereo channels, you hear that some of the other channel is coming through, but it's kind of a filtered signal. So I don't know exactly what is happening there, but be sure to give it a try. So let's go back to 100% stereo. And when you turn it to 0, it's both delays are in the center, like this. Back to stereo, like this. So let's take a look at the next delay type, which is the 2-tap delay. The difference between the 2-tap delay and the dual delay is that the dual delay is two completely separate delay engines, and with the 2-tap delay, it's like a tape delay, where the longer note value, in this case the 4/16, tells you what the repeat rate is. So both of the delays get repeated at the length of 1/4 note. But the first tap is at 3/16, the second tap is at 4/16, and this happens every beat. If I'd go like 5/16, the sequence would be repeated every 5 notes. And the longer I set it, so the rhythmic effect will always be the same. So it's not moving against each other. So both delays are not working against each other or independently from another, but both of them are in sync with each other, and they don't move around. It's just a different effect, and you might give it a try. It's good for certain stuff. Not always useful, but it's a very interesting effect. So now we have the serial 2-tap, which is essentially a 2-tap. We have 2 taps, and we have a serial delay in front of it. So we have like the 2-tap thing we just had. Let's go. That's just the 2 taps. They are going like 4/16 and 3/16, and now we mix in the 2/16 notes with a serial tap in front. So that's like also a very intense effect. The next one would be the rhythm delay, where we have like 4 note values. They are set like to 1/16, 2, 3, and 4/16. If I turn the feedback way down, it should just be 4 repeats. So that's the thing. And you can set the volume of each, and you can set the panorama of each, just like you would want to. Modulation and flutter is all the same as in the other delays, but let's just go a bit further, and let's just set this to 2, let this set to 5, 6, and maybe to 8. Why not? And let's see what that sounds like. You can create like different rhythmic patterns with that. That's also very interesting. Let's go to the quad delay, which is essentially the same, I guess. What's the difference? I think the quad delay. Let's turn up the feedback. Let's get this down to 7. Okay, that's like the 2-tap delay, the quad delay. The longest repeat or note value just defines the cycle in which this happens. So everything happens in the realm of 7/16 notes. Let's turn it up to 9. Let's see what that sounds like. So the legacy delay, we won't go into that because that's the old delay. Then we have the crystal delay. That is part of the new pitch delays. What this does, it creates a second pitch and secondary pitch in kind of a crystal reverse mode that you can mix in here. Let's just turn this down a bit. My usual go-to delay setting is 4-3. And you can hear the reverse octave delay. And you can change the pitch here. 7 would be a fifth above. Let's hear that. And you can slightly detune it. Let's go fourth below. And as with the pitch shifter, you can use the pure tuning feature. To keep chords even. And that's also a nice one to use the swell feature. So that's the crystal delay. Let's see the next one. Loop pitch delay. That's the one where every repeat the pitch gets fed back into the pitch shifter. So if you have it set to like 1 octave, the next repeat, the first repeat will be 1 octave higher, the second will be 2 octaves higher, and the third will be 3 octaves higher. You can hear how it gets higher. Let's do it with the fifth. Let's take a look at the next one, which is the frequency shifter delay. Now, the frequency shifter delay is a funny thing because it kind of ring modulates the delayed signal. And you can create all sorts of funny or dark sounding movie-like sounds with it. So now we have the dual chromatic delay, which is a dual delay with 2 pitch taps. Let's go 1 plus 2, which is a major second, and 1 plus 7, which is a fifth above, and that should give us a suspended chord. Let's just get the swell down. A dual harmonic is the same thing, but you can now choose a key signature, and this is set to E major or C sharp minor now, and we can just choose the intervals here plus second, and let's just take a fourth down. The next delay would be the dual crystal, where you have 2 crystal pitches. Let's just take one the octave above and one the fifth above. And now we have the dual loop pitch. It's like the loop delay where every repeat the delays get pitched one further. You can hear how they move higher and higher. Melodic chromatic pattern is the next one. This has, let me see, it has 4 pitches that we can use. Let's just try something science fiction sounding, and let's do a whole scale, which is 2, 4, 6, and 8. Now come on. This should be or if we go like 3, 6, 9, and 12. This should be a diminished chord. So it works like the quad delay, but you can assign 4 different pitches to it, chromatic pitches. And the next delay is the same, but as a harmonic delay, which means we can just again choose the key signature we're in, that is here. It's again E or C sharp minor. And now we can just go for the intervals. Just make a 4th, a 3rd, then maybe a 5th, and down a 2nd. Why not? Let's try this. And you can always try which setting gives the best. So, quad chromatic, which is the same as the tape delay, but again it does relate to the longest delay value, which gives you the circle of delays. Let's turn this up. Let's turn it more up. Sounds also crazy. Quad harmonic is the same thing. So I hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you can to my channel just to be updated when more videos are coming, and stay tuned for the next videos. Thanks for watching.